We will now continue with the second question and answer session. The next question is from Peru. Go ahead, please.
Peru, from the University Ricardo Palma. Our question is, how can an educational organization that develops virtual education programs, how can they utilize a global university from students coming from different countries? What observations or suggestions could you make in this arena?
Well, thank you. Actually, I think that would be one of the most exciting things one could do. Having access to people from all over the world, access to understanding their cultures and learning their value systems, etc., so that a conversation opens up where there is an exchange of ideas that I think can draw people together. I think that is one of the real opportunities for universities, is to be able to take advantage of that. I think there's a, as I also think about it from the point of view of administering that, I think it's creating, again, I'm going to call it access. So what are the access points, and how are people treated when they use that access or portal to the university, and in learning what their needs are, so that it becomes an important exchange, and that exchange represents and demonstrates to them your investment in them and caring. So you've got this connection, establishing that relationship.
Absolutely. And there are some minor considerations as far as time and language, but those are issues that need to be dealt with. Right. Yes. We go back to Mexico for our next question. Go ahead, please.
Good afternoon. I'm calling from Comisión Federal de Electricidad. How can an organization be global in terms of geography or in terms of market reach?
Okay. So I think that markets are always local. We talk about them as if they're global, meaning that it's nothing more than an aggregate of the elements that are required from a local marketplace. So I think it's synthesizing those, and you end up with, well, my product line will be such and such, or my service line will be such and such, based on the combination of common elements. I think there's also a perspective that says, if I'm thinking about being global, what are the things that I need to know about them being locally? I think one of the things I might be suggesting as we've gone through the presentation today is that we have this concept of being global, but what we're trying to do is take reality of connecting the local pieces. And we use the word global as maybe a pseudonym for let's make a connection to another local part of the world where we can be successful. Think of the difference between global and international, where I might be operating from San Diego and have a production company here, and I'm delivering products around the world. I'm really not taking advantage of understanding the local culture, the local people, and then having the products and services that are required from them emerge from that level. There seems to be a disconnect in my mind, so that's how I would kind of express that.
Our next question is faxed from Mexico, so I will read that for you. In your experience, do organizational visions usually originate with the top-level decision makers and directors most of the time? And the follow-up to that is, what can one do if these are not visionary people with global mindset?
Okay. So the organizational visions tend to come from, the ideas come from leadership, certainly. There's ideas. However, if we engage the people within the organization, we can learn different aspects of it so that people in the organization can give us clues to help us understand. Plus, it's getting a broader input. So not just our employees, but what's going on in the marketplace, the other stakeholders. And if the combination of that, we've researched and got information in a systematic way, then the leaders can, yes, they have to ultimately write it down and get it articulated, but the buy-in process for sharing, et cetera, is built and rooted in that first set of conversations. Now, if you ask about the global mindset, recall that in one of our earlier broadcasts, we talked about the global mindset is really the mindset of a leader. There's a managing mindset which has some very local operations and control, but the concept of a global mindset is having the mindset of a leader, which is looking out, which is moving forward, which is gathering feedback, which is projecting and synthesizing all that information to be able to help the organization respond. So.
Fantastic, great. We stay in Mexico for our next question. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I'm calling from the Tecnológico de Coautitlán Izcalli. Our question is, in our current world, how can we adapt or change our organizational vision, and how can we balance the benefits and costs in making those vision changes? Thank you.
Okay. So not sure I understand the question completely, but let me approach it this way. Visions we create visions so that we can move to a desired state. And if we're finding we're not getting to the desired state, we ought to be, number one, revisiting the vision to see if that's going to get us there. But remember that visions need to be founded in some realistic capabilities. Do we have the resources and the capabilities to be able to achieve this vision? We may not have everything when we've set the vision, but if we actually can't build that within our system and within our organization, we'll never achieve the vision. So that certainly would be one. So you do have to balance your opportunities, you got to balance your capabilities, you got to balance your cost structures, so that it's the combination of those to be able to deliver.
Great. Great question, wonderful answer. We stay in Mexico for our next question. Go ahead, please.
I'm calling from the Instituto Tecnológico of Zacatecas. What is the difference between an international vision and a global vision?
I think I opened up that can of worms, didn't I? Thank you very much for your question. I think an international vision is one that's focused outward, that you're going to be doing something to the countries. A global vision is, how do I get my business built from the foundation around the globe so that it becomes part of the fabric of the local business community and the local social communities? That would be my differentiator.
Great. And our next question comes from our neighbor city, Tijuana, Mexico. Go ahead, please.
Good morning. I'm calling of the Instituto Tecnológico of Tijuana. And what advice could you give us in terms of achieving for example, our alumni work mainly in the maquiladora industry, in the manufacturing industry. How can they have a global vision working with Korean, U.S., Chinese companies? How can our institution be aligned with this type of a global vision? How can we align ourselves?
Okay, so as I hear the question, one of the things I might suggest is that it's not just preparing people to work in the local community, but it's preparing people to have access to the ideas and the cultural understanding of the countries you would like to serve. So if there's ways for you at your institute to be able to have people help those students understand either the cultural values or understand the marketplaces of the local places that they are delivering product to, I think it would help develop their understanding of the basic concepts and principles that might assist them as they move into the manufacturing marketplaces within the area of Tijuana. Okay.
Great. Our next question is faxed in from Cuba, so I will read that to you. This is an excellent question. Another excellent question. Government leaders usually rely on political factors rather than efficiency and performance considerations, so that their vision is usually political above all. How can society influence a change in this reality so that service excellence can be achieved in the public sector?
This can be difficult, and as you expand your organizations, whether they're educational or business organizations around the globe, I think it becomes clear that this is a significant issue. So, culturally speaking, understanding cultures, I think, can be done because we can understand the cultures. However, the political barriers may be the ones that are established. And the political barriers tend to be positions that either have been taken by the governmental groups or well, I won't get into that. But establish barriers for business and establish barriers for communication, and start creating an environment where people tend to not be open about their thinking, but become closed about their thinking. So even the people within the community, recognizing that they to survive and work in that culture or within that political arena most effectively, have to sort of establish barriers as well, which unfortunately I think just sort of breaks apart this whole thing about how can we be most successfully from a global environment. And I would suggest once again that we need to be astute in the political world to be able to make it work. We need to be critically astute about how we position it and how we build it at the local level within the cultures. Okay.
But the strategy that should work most of the time, at least, is to help each other to articulate our visions and put it on the floor, because there's always a vision there.
Right.
But most often, either in the private sector or sometimes even in the political sector, they are not articulated.
Right. And I don't think that the communities necessarily understand all the backroom politics that go on that create these positions, and so we can't get clarity around it. So we need clarity around the visions, and we need clarity around what we're really trying to accomplish.
Okay, great. And we would like to acknowledge Zacatecas, Mexico, for the anniversary of 30th anniversary. We appreciate your participation, and we apologize for having the wrong slide up. So that's a correction there. Thank you for your excellent questions. We have run out of time. We hope that you have enjoyed participating once again in this exciting multilingual and multinational program. We invite you to visit the ITC Online Video Library at www.itc-gnet.org to make use of our rich catalog of webcasts, particularly those related to our annual series theme, Service Excellence and Productivity for Global Success. Our next live video conference, airing December 7, 2006, will be titled Excellence in the New Economy, Strategies for Developing a Mind Share and Quality of Service. For additional information on this video conference series, please consult your participants' manual, where you will find the dates and specific topics for each program, or visit the ITC website, where you can also obtain information on or purchase ITC's valuable new communication and collaboration resource, the ITC iPhone, an easy-to-use internet-based phone that will help us all connect more effectively across borders. For more details, please contact ITC. We also invite you to learn more about our online academic and certification entity, San Diego Global University, and enroll in its unique Master of Science degrees and Global Competency Diploma program, fully available online in both English and Spanish. On behalf of all of us, I thank you and hope to see you soon.